Welcome to episode 251 of Cocktails in the War Room. I am your host, Mistress Carrie. Welcome to the War Room. This is the place in the house where all of the military memorabilia from my family is, and all of the things that I brought back from my trips overseas in Iraq and Afghanistan, and also where the bar is. And, we like to congregate here every Tuesday night at 8:30 for Cocktails in the War Room, originally starting back on March 14th of 2020. Cocktails in the War Room rode out the pandemic 80 nights in a row. And then in June of 2020, we turned the show into a weekly show where we talk about life, the world, music, concerts, touring, cocktails, and anything else that comes up. I am your host, Mistress Carrie. Welcome to the War Room. Cheers. What's up, Jen, Travis, Mark is here, Greg joining us, Elsa and Michelle, Steven is here. Let's see, Kevin joining us, Michelle. I cannot wait to be able to tell you guys what I did today. I spent the afternoon not only on the radio, but also running around on kind of a wild goose chase. And I can't tell you what I was doing because I was sworn to secrecy, because it was in preparation for something that hasn't happened yet. But I can tell you this. It has something to do with a band you guys know I love, and it has something to do with a video. That's all I can tell you. But today was pretty hilarious. And so I can't wait to tell you guys all about it. Backstage pass holders, I'll give you a little bit more inside information. For everybody else, I can't tell you yet. But today was pretty hilarious. Let's see. Jen says, hair is spot on. Thank you very much. What's going on, Keith? Ash says, what's up, Carrie and fam? Christine says, hey, Carrie, I'm going to miss you. I am at Falling in Reverse in St. Augustine, Florida. Nice, Christine. Fantastic. Good evening, War Room and friends, says Don. Thomas says, thank you for the heads up on the launch tonight. You're very welcome. I try to give you guys as much of a heads up as I can. Sometimes I forget to set the thing that actually reminds you guys, but I try to the best I can. Let's see. You are such a tease, says Marianne. I know, but it hasn't happened yet, and I can't give up the information. I can't give it up yet. So I played a very small part, not in the music video, but in the production, a small itty bitty, small little detail that I needed to help with. And I'll let you know when it comes out. That's all I can tell you. So for anybody that's new to the War Room, welcome. If you are new to the War Room, if this is the first time you've joined us, chime in the comments. Let us know that you are new and also where you're watching from. So the OG War Room family, as they are dubbed, can welcome you properly. You can also, we finally got it to work, ask and you shall receive. If you go to the Cocktails in the War Room page at mistresscarrie.com, the dictionary is now linked at the top of the page. It took a little bit of a coding thing to figure out how we could get it to work, but we got it to work. So if you are looking for the dictionary, that's the glossary of terms and inside jokes that we've collected here in the War Room. OG family members, take a gander at the dictionary. Let me know if anything is missing. And if you're new, it's a way for you to kind of get caught up with some of the inside jokes and references that you'll either hear me say or you will see pop up in the comments. Welcome to our War Room family members, says Donna. Hey, MC, you have an email. In fact, I have some good news. All right, Michelle, I will take a look out for your email. Let's see. Just not able to Chromecast you like I used to. Betty, what? Why can't you Chromecast? Is it a Facebook change? What happened? Keith says, I am in the dictionary. Yeah, you are, because you don't like to wear pants, Keith. Sometimes that's appropriate, and sometimes it's a felony. It just depends on geography, I suppose. Jen says, went to Salem the other day. So I have been seeing so many updates. You guys know how much I love Halloween. The countdown is on. Salem, Mass around Halloween, anytime in October. Let's scratch that. Salem, Massachusetts at any time I love. I love the scenery. I love the history. There's great food, awesome, amazing little boutique shops. There's all of the witch stuff. There's all the military history. The first muster took place in Salem Commons. So I like to take friends from out of town to Salem any time of the year. In the summertime, it's a great motorcycle destination. Anytime friends want to come into New England and have seafood, if they don't want to go downtown Boston, usually I will take them to Salem for lobster rolls or to sit out on an outdoor patio and get seafood and have some cocktails. And they always want to go in the witch shops. They always kind of want to wander around Salem, look at the old architecture, the old houses, go to the graveyard. Like I love all of that stuff. But this time of year, Salem in October. And I know that people in Salem are so over it, but like the people that live like in the Charlestown Navy Yard and like anywhere on the waterfront in Boston that complain about the cannons from old Ironsides, it's like it was there before you. It will be there after you. You just kind of have to suck it up. And so for Salem, it's like you're almost better off moving out of Salem, out of your house for the month and Airbnb-ing it for the entire month. You could probably pay your mortgage for the year of what you can Airbnb your house for just in the month of October. But it's my favorite. Jonathan says, hey, Carrie, did you hear about the Hocus Pocus cast coming to Salem? Well, we knew last year that they were filming the sequel. So I knew that they were doing it, but the cast is coming, I'm assuming, around Halloween, which is the Hocus Pocus house is one of the places on the Haunted Salem tours that everybody always wants to go to, the House of Seven Gables. Mark says Salem is a nightmare parking right now. That's why they tell everybody to take the commuter rail. Go to one of the other commuter rail stops that's along that purple line and take the commuter rail to get in and out of Salem because it's a disaster. Trina says, I lived in Salem for 2 years and loved it. That is the spirit, Trina, because if you hate it, I just don't understand you. Michelle says, River Rose, the grandbaby, now walking and getting into everything. She even picked up a 5-pound bag of potatoes. I can tell you guys that my little nephew that is staying here at the house, because they're still here, my family, he rolled over from his back to his front for the first time. Big news. And his Halloween costume came in and they were doing a test run of he's like a little over 5 months old. And they did a test run of the Halloween costume today. Ridiculous. Just ridiculous. I'll share a picture with you guys later, but just so cute. Melissa says, I want to tour Salem one of these years. Melissa, you have to do it. It's so fun. It like, even if you go just in the middle of the summer, obviously midweek is better. Totally worth trying to use a vacation day or a personal day at work to go in midweek when there's no traffic. You don't have to wait for a restaurant and you can just do your thing. But it's so much fun any time of the year. It's just amazing. Go in August. We like to go back. Yeah, just warm weather is great. Wear comfortable shoes. There's a lot of walking. There's also a place, good luck doing it in October, but there's actually a place if you sign up ahead of time and book an appointment that you can go in and make your own like witch's broom from all of the different things that they have there. And you can make it for like your front door for Halloween or like whatever. And it's just cool stuff like that. I just love it. What's up, Rachel? Michelle says, I want to go back to the Salem Witch Museum. That's amazing. It's just really cool. So I have not been to Salem yet this year, but I need to go because you guys know how much I love Halloween. So what else happened this week that I want to tell you guys about? Saw the guys from Chevelle and 3 Days Grace over the weekend at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway. I put up some pictures on social media. I totally forgot to put them here in the war room, but Pete and Sam Loeffler from Chevelle told me that 8 songs for the new record are done and that they already agreed to come on the podcast when the record gets done and they get ready to release it. They are assuming, I believe, early next year, although there is a possibility that maybe we could get a new song this year, but definitely new Chevelle music coming in 2024. Saw the guys from 3 Days Grace as well, which was great. Was there with 617 Rocks, who raised almost $150,000 for cancer and mental health research and treatment on Saturday night. You can get more details at 617rocks.org. So that was an absolute blast. Paula says, I am doing the Witch's Broom in December. Paula, will you please remember to send me a message and let me know what you thought of the custom Witch's Broom appointment, because I have not done it yet. It's something that I want to do with a group of friends that are coming in from out of town. I've seen it online. I just haven't done it yet. So will you please send me a message with pictures of your broom and also how much you like the experience, because I really want to do it. Christy says, going to Salem on the 28th with my friends. You're just going to have a blast. Like, it's so weather dependent too, because obviously if it rains, it's kind of miserable. Definitely bring spending money. There's so many cool little pop-up shops, vendors, little boutique stores. There's some really cool like goth clothing stores and awesome little pop-up markets that have, I always buy something from my skull collection, my candle collect, just all of that kind of stuff. I always find something to get in Salem. Let's see. I didn't know about the Witch's Broom until now, says Betty. It's a place that either makes decorative witch's brooms that you put on your front door or whatever, or you can make an appointment to go and actually construct your own with different herbs and whatever. There's no way you're going to get an appointment in October, but it's just a really cool thing that you can do with the kids or whatever. And then you can either ship your broom back or obviously you can take it with you. I don't think it's a very inexpensive thing, but definitely something cool if you were looking for like a crafty thing to do with some friends or an excuse to go to Salem or something cool to do with the kids. Thanks for the info, says Christy. No problem. Got my first deck of tarot cards in Salem, and I still have the deck, says Rachel. It's really cool for stuff like that. And going the closer to Halloween and like every time I go to Salem in October, I dress up because I just have to. There's so many people running around in witches' hats and costumes. Earlier in the day, it's a little more kid-friendly, or early in the evening. And then obviously the later it gets, the more spooky the costumes, the more gory the costumes. There are people that have known to like hide in the bushes just to scare tourists, which is hilarious. The lines are definitely longer, and none of the restaurants let you make reservations in October because it's just too crazy. So either eat before you go or expect to eat like street food from like food trucks and stuff. Getting into the restaurants can be hard, like the earlier you go, and the traffic is just terrible, but it's so worth it. I love it so much. What's up, Will? Michelle says, did you see that Susan Summers passed away? So Suzanne Summers has been fighting a severe form of breast cancer for 23 years. And when news broke over the weekend that she passed away, there was a lot of stuff, as it is anytime someone dies, about their career, just about their life in general. And so there were a couple of things that struck me. First of all, Summers was actually the name of her first husband. She got divorced like in the early 70s. Secondly, the reason why she left Three's Company and was replaced as like the bubbly blonde on the cast is because she had the unmitigated gall to ask in a contract renegotiation to make the same money as John Ritter. So it goes to show you how far of a jump between Three's Company and Friends, because Three's Company, when it was at its height, was the highest rated sitcom on television. And according to what I read, and I don't know if this is 100% true, but according to what I read, Suzanne Summers was making like $30,000 an episode, and John Ritter was making $150,000. And when Suzanne Summers asked to make the same money as her co-star, they started slowly phasing out her role on the show and then let her go. Whereas if you look at what happened with the cast of Friends, the 6 friends opted to negotiate contract renegotiations as a unit, saying all for one for all. If you're not going to get rid of any of us, you're going to have to sign us all to the same deal. And at the height of Friends, each friend was not only making $1 million an episode, but the cast of Friends also got cut in on the residuals on the back end, which meant a bit of the syndication. And I have read, again, I don't know if it's true, but I have read that it's estimated that each member of Friends makes $20 million a year in residuals from Friends, meaning they don't have to get out of bed ever again. They don't have to work. But for somebody like Suzanne Somers in the 70s to ask for equal pay for equal work, because you could make the argument that there were bigger stars or whatever, but Three's Company, it was the three roommates and then the landlords that lived downstairs. And for Chrissy Snow to get replaced on the show, and she even said in interviews that until she got cast in the 80s with Patrick Duffy from Dynasty, that for a while she couldn't get work, which is part of the reason she did the commercial for Thighmaster, which turned into a zeitgeist, like it just took over everything. But she paid a price for asking for equal pay. And it wasn't that long ago. And going into modern times now, talking about Friends and the back end residuals, that is part of the reason why the writers and the actors are striking now, because the producers of the entire industry in Hollywood would like to keep those contracts the same, meaning that the actors and actresses get paid when the shows air or when the movies get released in theaters, but there is an entire secondary revenue stream that comes when those get added to streaming platforms. For example, Suits. Meghan Markle's show was popular when it was on, but it is now one of the most streamed shows on Netflix and has grown the audience in popularity so much so that they are thinking about making a spin-off of Suits that is not going to be the same cast, but they said it would exist in the same universe as Suits, probably opening up the door for cast members to return to make guest appearances from the original show. But if you're an actor on Suits and you only got paid when the show was on television, you're missing out on arguably more money when the show hits streaming platforms. So that's the whole reason for the actors and the writers' strikes, is because there is now a new business model, a new digital business model that the producers would like to capitalize on and cut the people that made the original shows out of the deal. Thus the strike. So it must be nice to wake up to $20 million a year. It must be. However, the argument can be made that the show wouldn't have been as successful as it was Thursday nights in prime time on NBC, or that there wouldn't be such a demand for it on streaming platforms if it wasn't good. And it's good because of the writers and the actors. And so therefore, they deserve to be cut in on any and all revenue that comes in. It also behooves the actors, the writers, musicians, anyone, good life lesson for anybody. And it's something that you guys have heard me talk about in the podcast, to make sure that you're reviewing any legal document or contract about anything and have a lawyer read it, because that's how a lot of early musicians, all of those old Motown musicians, they didn't get any points on those records. They were paid, say, maybe $1,000 to go in and sing on a song. And that song then sold 10 million copies, and they don't get cut in on any of the success. They got paid a one lump to just perform on the song, and that was it. So just learn from the mistakes of those in the entertainment industry that maybe have signed ironclad contracts, not allowing for changes in technology and not asking for what you're worth. And even though Suzanne Somers paid the price in the short term, she had a complete career rebirth, not only on television and in infomercial fame, but also as a writer and as someone that tackled early on the subject of women's health, menopause, hormone replacement, and obviously had really called attention to women battling breast cancer. And so she was a pioneer, not just the ditzy Chrissy Snow from Three's Company. So rest in peace, Suzanne Somers. You were an original. Even people like Chris Jericho and Paul Stanley paying tribute to her on social media. So to Suzanne Somers. The other person that Hollywood lost over the weekend was Piper Laurie. You may not recognize her name, but she was on Twin Peaks, and she also played Carrie's evangelical psychotic mother in Sissy Spacek's original Carrie film, which obviously I've watched 10,000 times. She was the mom, and she passed away over the weekend at 91. And I think anybody that saw that movie when it came out or just afterwards, if you've never seen the original Carrie, it's fantastic. The Pig's Blood, John Travolta's in it, but Piper Laurie, who played Sissy Spacek's mom in Carrie, also passed away this weekend at the age of 91. Speaking of moms, Jessica asking how my mom is. Her birthday was over the weekend, and I went and saw her this weekend, and it was sad. I got to be honest, that mom's illness is progressing, albeit slowly, but progressing. And I was really upset afterwards. It was some other family members, including my sister, had seen her in the days leading up to her birthday and had kind of warned me that like she had taken a dip. When we found out about my mom's diagnosis, which anybody that's new to the War Room, my mom was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. And when we finally were cued in on her diagnosis, because my mom knew about her illness long before she clued us in on it, when we finally were able to sit down with the doctor and ask questions, the doctor said that the only humane thing that disease does when it strikes as early as it does is that it strikes quickly. And so my sister and I have been kind of prepared for the inevitability that my mom's illness was going to intensify. And that's what's starting to happen now. So I appreciate you guys asking me about it, but there's no good news there, which is sad. Michael Voorhees says Piper Laurie was also in the Thornbirds. Whoa, blast from the past, 1.21 gigawatts to Thornbirds. That's crazy. Eric says, Carrie, you're showing your age. What, talking about Carrie? Go back and watch that original Carrie movie. So good. So good. Mark says, hey, Carrie, my mom's birthday is Saturday. Can we cheers to your mom? Hell yeah. Absolutely. Happy birthday, Bish's mom. Kevin says, I loved Piper in Dream a Little Dream. It also said that she had a little affair with Ronald Reagan before he was governor, because she was in a movie with him, I believe, where she played his daughter, and then she had a little fling with the soon-to-be governor of California and soon-to-be twice elected president of the United States. Interesting. Michelle says, happy birthday to your mom. Thank you very much. Cheers to my mom. Cheers to Bish's mom coming up this weekend. Eric says, unfortunately, it's the circle of life. Enjoy your mom while she is here. Exactly. Like that's the thing is that, kids are supposed to take care of their parents, which is why it's always so tragic when parents lose a child, because that is not the circle of life the way that nature intended. For a parent to lose a child is just not the way that it's supposed to be. Betty says, saw Carrie at the drive-in, and yes, I jumped. I saw The Karate Kid and one of my favorite movies of all time, The Big Chill, at the drive-ins. And they used to show 3 movies. There used to be a drive-in in Lunenburg, and it was called Tri-City Drive-In or something like that. And they used to show 3 movies. And at certain times, they would do dusk to dawn movies. So they showed like all 3 Star Wars movies, and then they would show like the 3 Indiana Jones movies, and you would just stay there and watch movies till the sun came up, which was amazing. Jessica says Alzheimer's disease is just a horrible disease. Yeah, it's just, thankfully my mom is unaware now of her illness. Obviously, when she was diagnosed, she was aware of what her future was going to hold. But I have heard people say that Alzheimer's is worst on the family and MS is worse on the patient. And I can see how that would be. Mark says, wax on, wax off. Exactly. Oh, it was Tri-Town Drive-In. That's what it was, Michael. It was Tri-Town Drive-In in Lunenburg. Michael Voorhees says, The Big Chill is awesome. It was the movie that made me fall in love with Jeff Goldblum. Like, I just love that movie. It's also a movie that I always thought could be redone for future generations. The idea of a bunch of 30-somethings getting back together with all of the people they went to college with, surrounded for the weekend because of a tragedy. It was also Kevin Costner's first movie, by the way. A little aside. If you've ever seen The Big Chill, the opening credits is the Rolling Stones, You Can't Always Get What You Want. And it shows somebody getting dressed, and it turns out to be someone's body being dressed for their funeral. And the body is Kevin Costner. There was supposed to be flashbacks of the movie, which Kevin Costner filmed to show him alive in college, because, spoiler alert, Kevin Costner is the college friend that died, thus the rest of the friends getting together for the weekend. But they opted to cut out the flashback scenes in the movie. And so Kevin Costner is uncredited in the film, but he is in fact the body at the beginning of the movie. Just a little trivia. Rachel says, want to talk about a blast from the past. The cast from Cool Runnings is coming to Rhode Island Comic-Con next month. Let me tell you what, if you ever go to Jamaica, there is a whole store in the airport dedicated to the Jamaican bobsled team. So, Sanka, you dead? I love that movie. John Candy, come on. How can you not love that movie? And the Breakfast Club cast is coming too. That's also one of my favorite movies. I love The Breakfast Club. Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park must go faster. Michael Voorhees, Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park in a leather jacket is sex. He is my nerd crush. I make no apologies for it. The Rustic Drive-In on 146 is still going. Every kid should experience in their childhood putting their PJs on, popping a giant bag of popcorn in like a paper shopping bag, and going to the drive-ins with their family. It's just so much fun. I loved the drive-ins growing up. All right, so the guys from 3 Days Grace and Chevelle say hello. That was over the weekend. And then I'll fill you in on my adventures today when the time is right. Wednesday, by the way, is not here right now because she is in with the baby. So I take second place with Wednesday because, well, she wants nothing to do with me. Want to remind you guys about the, wait, what am I doing? Hold on. What's going on here? Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to show you guys, remember I told you guys about this last week, that a little independent horror film got filmed inside MCHQ. Mike Shue is also filming a scene for this upcoming movie. So, and Denny Doherty, that I told you guys about last week, who worked on the weekends at WAAF, there's actually a WAAF reunion that is coming up at the end of this month. Now, it's just for people that worked at WAAF, all past employees, our bosses at the Pike, who also at one point or another worked at WAAF, are helping to put it together. I don't want to give out specifics because it's only for AAF employees, but I'm going to see Denny at the end of the month, and he's probably going to try and rope in a bunch of old AAFers to be in his horror movie. But I don't have more details on the horror film, but I wanted to let you guys know that Mike Shue is also filming for the movie, and that he, as soon as we get more details on it, I'll let you know. But the idea that a bunch of old AAFers are going to get back together is pretty spectacular. So speaking of the Pike, you can listen to me every weekday afternoon on my show at 100 FM The Pike. If you love classic rock, it's Worcester's Rock Station. You can download the Pike app. You can also go to pikefm.com. Stream the station from anywhere you are. So even if you're joining me in the war room from outside of New England, you can always listen to me on the radio. And if you want a little bit newer rock music, you can listen to me every weekday afternoon on 106.3 The Bone in Portland, Maine. You can go to 1063rocks.com, download the Bone app, and you can listen to that show anywhere that you are. So, cocktail recipe. This one is called, where was it? Oh yeah, here it is. So because I was drinking the the blueberry moonshine. I thought it would be good to like try to find some other purple drinks. And so I found this one. This is a blackberry margarita, which I have not tried, but I thought sounded delicious. It's 1.5 ounces of silver tequila, 1/2 ounce of blackberry liqueur, juice from half a lime, 10 blackberries, not 9, not 12, 10 blackberries, 2 blackberries on the side to garnish. It says pour the ingredients into a blender with crushed ice, blend, pour into a margarita glass, add 2 whole blackberries on a cocktail stick, and set it across the glass and serve with a straw. Obviously, you could garnish with a lime wedge as well with the whole blackberries on the toothpick. You could also probably take the lime or maybe some blackberry puree and put it around the rim and give it a rim job. But blackberry margarita, I thought, would be delicious, and purple. So purple is delicious. Let's see. Was listening to you on my run this afternoon. Thank you very much, Mr. Bish. No gin, no dairy, no eggs. Yeah, 3 of the 3 horsemen of the apocalypse when it comes to cocktails in my book. Just got the Pike app. Thank you, MC. Fantastic. Where is the dog? Eric, she's with the baby. Like, refuses to leave the baby at all costs. Depending on when they go to bed. In case you're new to the War Room, I have family members that are staying here at the house during some construction in their house. And my cousin's here, their dog is here, and their 5-month-old baby is here. My little nephew, who is just adorable. And Wednesday is just enamored by the baby. And so if the baby is awake, I don't see Wednesday. But then when they get ready to go to bed, they tell Wednesday, okay, you need to go see mommy. And then they close the door. And then Wednesday will grace me with her presence. I'm the number 2. So yes, Melissa, a rim job. Exactly. Let's see. Nannying. Yeah. Wednesday is nannying. That's exactly what she's doing. Will you ever show us your Harley posted on your page? Eric, there's a whole photo gallery on my Facebook page. So if you go to the Mistress Carrie Facebook page, go to my albums, my photo albums, and there is an album called Motorcycles. Not only is there pictures of my motorcycle, the custom paint job, all of that, but also the Motorcycles album also has all of the photos from my motorcycle accident and recovery as well. So there's plenty of pictures of my motorcycle up on my Facebook page. Eric says, it's a full house, MC. Oh, you have no idea. The Pike app on iHeart, I put it on my TV. There you go. Same thing with the Bone app. Either app, you can get to me either way. All right, let's recap last week's podcast episode. Episode 175 of the Mistress Carrie podcast featuring Mark LaBelle from Dirty Honey. That came out on Wednesday, as does every full-length episode of the podcast. But I always tell you guys to be on the lookout for bonus episodes. And on Friday last week, a bonus episode featuring Pat Badger from Extreme came out. Oh, hold on. Hello. Did you decide to stop nannying Wednesday? Huh? Did you decide to come and visit? Say hi? Everybody was asking about you. Did the baby go to bed? Is that what happened? Down. Nope, down. Good girl. Did the baby go to bed? Is that why? I brought in cookies for you. But everybody was wondering where you were. For anybody that's new to the War Room, this is Wednesday. And that's where you can find her on Instagram at Wednesday the Goth Pug. My guest on this week's podcast episode, which I'll tell you in a minute, also has an Instagram for his pets. And his pets are now following Wednesday, and Wednesday is now following his pets. So, right? Can I have a paw? No, I want your paw. Sit. No, you're skipping through. Nope. Sit. No, sit. You're skipping through all of your tricks. Paw. Other paw. Other paw. High five. High five. High five. Good girl. There you go. Good girl. So if you're new to the War Room, this is Wednesday. She's been my co-host since we started Cocktails in the War Room. We rode out the pandemic together. She is the peanut butter to my jelly. And her Instagram is basically just her living the life that we all wish we would have. If you believe in reincarnation and you're a good person in this life, get reincarnated as a pug in my house, because that proves that you were a good person in your last life, right? Because you're spoiled and you know it, right? Do you know you're spoiled? She's going to the doctor's tomorrow for a checkup. So next week I'll be able to tell you guys exactly how much she weighs now, right? Is it time for a checkup? Can you get down? Down? Down. Good girl. Good girl. Nanny Wednesday. She thought it was mail call, says Keith. That's exactly right. She probably did think it was mail call. She's looking for boxes right now on this side of the couch. No, that's not for you. That's not for you. So recapping last week's podcast episode, Mark LaBelle from Dirty Honey, episode 175. We always get good gossip from Mark LaBelle when it comes to musicians, whether it be AC/DC, Aerosmith, Guns N' Roses. I loved his story about drinking tequila backstage with Sammy Hagar and Michael Anthony from Van Halen. The new Dirty Honey album, Can't Find the Breaks, is coming out on November 3rd. And I've known the guys from Dirty Honey since the very beginning, when I've told the story before, but this just shows the power of what WAAF used to be. When Dirty Honey got a manager and kind of cut their first EP, the manager called us and said, I want to send you guys a demo of this new band we're working with to get some feedback. And Joe, my old boss at WAAF, and myself sat down, listened to the track, and called them and said, we're going to start playing this. And they were like, it's only a demo. And we were like, no, this band is really good. And it just so happened that they were going to be up in Maine, which is where John Notto, the guitar player from Dirty Honey, is from. And they were like, they were just kind of sending them up there to like do some shows to kind of get their touring feet wet. And we said, swing them by WAAF on their way back to New York City. And we want to have them come into the studio and play acoustic. And so Dirty Honey came into the AAF studio and played acoustic on my show before they released a full album, before their first EP came out. And I met them and just fell in love with them. And they are such sweet guys. They ran from the old AAF studio directly to Commonwealth Ave because they love Aerosmith so much, to the Aerosmith house, which I believe is 1326 Commonwealth Ave. And then they asked the street team guys for a bag of weed, which was hilarious. And then they asked us to get them some Sox Yankees tickets, which they were able to track down. And then they went to the Red Sox game. And during the game, a billboard came up with my face on it, advertising my show on WAAF at Fenway Park. And they took selfies with it and texted it to me and tagged me on social media. And were like, we're looking at you on the billboard at Fenway Park. And that's when I met those guys. And they've just... it's been so amazing having them on the show ever since. So just love those guys. And so I was super excited that Mark LaBelle decided to come back on the show. Would you like another cookie? Can I have your paw? Thank you. Can I have the other paw? No, I want to shake this paw. Thank you. Can I have a high five? High five. Okay. There you go. That's it. There's no more cookies, though. All the cookies are gone. Okay, can you just sit there and be beautiful? Can you just sit and be beautiful now? Can you just do that for me with some of your toys? Can you just sit and be beautiful? Where's it? What's this? You want this? Where's the eyeballs? This is what she does for hours. This is how we bond. This is what she does with all the toys you guys send her. Give me that. Give me that. So there you go. And then at the end of last week, I want to get back to the podcast. Pat Badger from Extreme, who on Saturday night played at Rascals in Worcester with his Eagles tribute band, the Dark Desert Eagles. And of course, the guys from Extreme have been in the news a lot because they released their long-awaited album 6. They are opening up for Godsmack at the end of October on the 27th at the SNHU Arena in Manchester, New Hampshire. And they are also playing Foxwoods in January with Living Colour. So lots going on with the guys from Extreme. We talked a lot about that and so much more in the bonus episode of the podcast that came out on Friday. So last week, you got 2 episodes for the price of 1. Even though it's free, you got 2. Let's see. Patrick says that is cool that you've had a lot of really cool interviews and they're not going to stop anytime soon. The podcast has really taken on a life of its own, and I've got some really, really good and awesome interviews in the works. There are some that I'm waiting to get confirmed. There are others that are scheduled but I haven't done yet. Backstage pass holders, I'm going to send you guys an update on who's going to be coming on the podcast soon, and who I've got lined up for the end of the year. Because as the year winds down, obviously once we get around the holidays, a lot of the bands take the rest of the year off. And so I have to have interviews lined up to get us through the rest of the holiday season. And so I'm starting to schedule interviews now through New Year's. So there's some really, really good ones coming up. Let's see. And the 25th in Oakdale in Connecticut. That's right. They're playing there as well. Extreme and Godsmack have a show in New Jersey, a show in New York, a show in Connecticut, and a show in New Hampshire. So there you go. All right. This week, super excited for this episode. Episode 176 of the Mistress Carrie podcast features Jason Hook from Flat Black. Now, you guys know that a couple times a year, I go to rock radio conventions in Las Vegas. I just came home from one a few weeks ago. Earlier this year, I was at a convention in Vegas, and one of the guest speakers and one of the new artists that came to the convention to kind of introduce themselves was Jason Hook from the band Flat Black. Now, you may remember Jason Hook because he was a longtime member of Five Finger Death Punch. Jason Hook has also been part of Alice Cooper's touring band. He was also, for a time, the pop guitar player du jour, and he has played with everybody from Hilary Duff to Mandy Moore. And that's something that we talked about in this week's podcast episode about cool lessons and things that he learned playing for somebody like Alice Cooper and touring with him, being part of a highly successful band like Five Finger Death Punch, and also seeing the entertainment business from the pop side, playing with hugely successful pop stars like Mandy Moore and Hilary Duff when they were doing their music as the main part of their career and going out and touring and playing shows. So Jason Hook told me in this week's episode the whole story about what happened after he left Five Finger Death Punch and starting Flat Black, the friendship that he has with Corey Taylor from Slipknot and Stone Sour, and how he and Corey Taylor wrote some songs together. One of those songs that Corey Taylor actually sings on is going to be featured on the debut album from Flat Black, which is due to come out in early 2024. Now, Flat Black has already released a couple songs, and there is a new single coming out tomorrow, which is why the release of this podcast episode comes in conjunction with the release of their new single, which is coming out tomorrow. So I've known Jason for a long time. We talked a lot about the music business. They're out on the road with Godsmack right now. So we talked a little bit about that, about launching a new band, about the friendships that he has in the music business and how helpful that has been, about putting the band together in his vision and why he put it together the way that he did, songwriting inspiration, and Jason has an Instagram page for his cats. And so when we were talking about pets, as we do, the Geezer Butler question comes up on the podcast a lot. We traded Instagram handles for our pets. So Wednesday is following his cats, and And his cats are now following Wednesday on Instagram. So the show notes of this week's episode not only feature Jason's links and all of the Flat Black links as well, but it also features the link to his cat's Instagram page so that you too can follow his cats on IG, because he's got 4 of them. And he lives in Vegas, which we talked a lot about. We talked about his motorcycle riding. And there are feral cats in the neighborhood that he and his wife have actually started to take care of, and thus the Instagram for the cats. So there you go. Episode 176 of the Mistress Carrie podcast features Jason Hook from Flat Black, and the episode goes live at midnight tonight. And don't forget, if you subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast, 5 days a week, you will wake up to the sit rep, which is around 5 minutes long. And it gives you all of the news in rock, all the headlines in music, entertainment, video games, movies, television, all of that kind of stuff. And it uploads first thing in the morning so that no matter how early you get up to go to work, you can spend 5 minutes making coffee, brushing your teeth, driving, sitting in the drive-thru on your way to work, and get caught up with everything that's going on. Godsmack is the secret guest on episode 200. On whose episode 200? Mine? I haven't booked episode 200 yet. I need to. Episode 200 is coming up, I believe, in March, right? Did we count that out already? That's too far away for me to worry about right now. I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm worried about getting through the rest of this year's episodes. Nuno Betancourt was just on an episode of Life in Six Strings. Well, Pat Badger and I talked a lot about all of the fury around Nuno Betancourt's guitar solos on the new Extreme album. And that was definitely a subject that came up on the bonus episode of the podcast last week. What's the name of the IG? Carol wants to know. Hold on. I believe it's called Fuzz Dynasty. It's FUZ_Dynasty on Instagram. I believe is, it's Fur Dynasty. There it is right there. That's Jason Hook's cat's Instagram page, which is now following Wednesday. So it's not Fuzz Dynasty. The Fab Fursome 4 male tabbies living the catnip life. And there it is. It says Dad Jason Hook right there. So Fur Dynasty is Jason Hook's cat's Instagram page. So if you are so inclined to follow a heavy metal guitar player's cats on Instagram, we talked a lot about that too. He is definitely a cat guy. Hi. What are you doing back there? Did you hear me talking about your Instagram? And you had to come back in here and sit like a parrot on my shoulder back there? Let's see. Have I texted Sully yet? Jessica, what am I supposed to be texting Sully about besides asking him for tickets for the show at the end of the month? Hold on. I got to get caught up with all your messages here. Nuno Betancourt, one of my favorite guitarists ever. He is so talented. Alicia couldn't agree more. Let's see. Oh, Jonathan laughing at Wednesday. Tell Wednesday you have treats. I don't. I gave them all to her. So she's just sitting back there right now, waiting for something. Right? What are you doing back there? Are you just sitting back there? For new people to the War Room, this is why Wednesday had to have her own camera, because she takes over mine all the time. And then moving my microphone, it totally screwed it up. So I have to fix it. Okay, let's see. Oh, she just jumped on me. She's sitting pretty. She is photo bombing you, says Louise. Yeah, exactly. Come here, Wednesday. Can you give me some love? Can you say hi to everyone? Are you being a good girl? Huh? Okay, you can get down, spoiled brat. All right. So if you subscribe to the podcast, you get the sit rep. You can listen to the podcast anywhere. This is just a sampling of the places that you can get all the episodes of the Mistress Carrie podcast, all the old episodes, all the sit reps, the weekly episodes, the bonus episodes. Just subscribe wherever it is that you get your podcast, or you can just go to mistresscarrie.com and all of the episodes are right there as well. Podcast locations. I'm going to leave this up here until we hit 150 countries. We are at 149 countries. It has been frozen there for I can't even tell you how many episodes. And we got to get to 150 episodes. But 149 episodes is pretty spectacular. Okay, birthdays this week. Besides my mom's this past Saturday, Eminem celebrating his birthday today. Also Ziggy Marley. And if you're celebrating your birthday today, you share your birthday with David St. Hubbins from Spinal Tap. So happy birthday to anybody celebrating their birthday today. Happy unbirthday, Keith. Wednesday's scratching at me down here because she wants me to pet her. I'm trying to do the show. I need to change the screens. I just can't leave it on the PudCam all the time Wednesday. I know you want me to. Do you want to just sit there and I'll rub you, but I can do the show at the same time? Can we do that? Can I just pet you? Okay. Let's talk about some music headlines. There's a lot going on. The Nirvana In Utero box set is coming out on the 27th. Next week is going to be a big week for two reasons. Number one, Green Day is releasing something on the 24th. If you go to isgreenDayAwake.com, it says yes on the screen, forwards you to a website called The American Dream Is Killing Me. And there is a theory that that is either the name of their upcoming new album or the name of their upcoming new single. But there's a release coming from Green Day on the 24th. Also coming on the 24th, the Britney book. Guys, I was on the air talking about this book today. So the Britney book is about her life. It's about the early days of her career as a Disney kid, as a pop star. It's about the 13 years in the conservatorship. It's about her relationships. And some of the excerpts came out. In the book, she says that she had an abortion at 19 and insinuates that it was at the request of Justin Timberlake, who's the one that got her pregnant, and that Justin Timberlake, and it sounds like their camps, so Britney's camp and Justin's camp, encouraged her to do that. And if she's willing to just throw that out there, I don't think Britney has any fucks left to give. And if that's the case, her dad came out and said recently that he's not worried about what she's going to say in the book. I was talking about it with a friend of mine today while I was running my super secret errand that I can't tell you guys about yet. And I was like, if you were anybody that crossed paths with Britney any more than being a cashier when she went through the drive-thru to get a coffee, I would be worried about what she's going to say about you in this book, because I don't think she gives a fuck. I really don't. And I think she's going to put everybody on blast. Artists she's worked with, family, boyfriends, ex-husbands. I think she's going to talk about everything. And she got a $15 million book advance, reportedly. So a book company or a publisher isn't going to pay $15 million in advance for something that isn't going to be salacious. I think this book is going to be brutal. Wednesday. Let me turn the PudCam back on so you guys can experience whatever it is that's happening right now. Hey, what are you doing? Did we stop talking about you? So now you're just... Really, Wednesday? Are you done? Okay. On with the show. So this Britney book is going to be And nope, we're not done because now she is sitting in her camera spot. She hit her mark, as they say in Hollywood. Love me a good blast, says Michael. Yeah, exactly. And she should. She has been through hell. Exactly. Oh, shit. I hope she doesn't include me in her book. That would be bad, says Keith. Were you wearing pants, Keith, in the book? Donna says, there go the pillows. Her drama is better than her music, says Eric. The life she's lived is kind of insane. Like, what has happened to her in her life? If somebody just wrote the book about a fictitious pop star, people would be like, that would never happen in real life. Except it did happen. It's just crazy. Mark says, Justin Timberlake got her pregnant and she got an abortion, she said. Yeah, Bish, I read that it was at the request of Justin and their camps, because at 19, they knew that that would kind of be a career killer for her if she had a baby and ruin Justin's career as well. Which is just, this whole thing is just going to be crazy. So what are you doing over there? Do you want me to move the camera? Huh? There. How's that? So everybody can watch you just lounge while I'm doing the show? Also, have you guys been keeping tabs on the Osbournes on their weekly podcast? Sharon put a picture up, or no, it was Kelly Osbourne put a picture up of Ozzy in the pool with Sid, her son. Adorable. Ozzy has been talking a lot about what he's got going on, including that he's doing Tai Chi now, that he's going into the studio first thing of the new year to record what he thinks is going to be his final studio album, and that he's planning on getting back on stage at some point next summer, which is kind of huge. So let's see. Rumor has it Britney already is working on a second book. What's going to be left? Like this first book. And by the way, going back to Britney, actress Michelle Williams is going to be reading the audiobook because Britney did not want to relive what's in the book by recording the audio for the book. So Michelle Williams is going to read the audiobook. So Jason says, did Ozzy have his back surgery yet? Yes, his fourth and final back surgery. He said in a recent episode of the podcast that the pain is gone. Now it's about getting back his mobility, his flexibility, and balance to be able to get back on stage. He also said today in the most recent episode of the Osbournes podcast that he used to pee his pants on stage because he was mad. I haven't listened to this week's episode yet, but yeah, there's a lot. Come here, Wednesday. What are you doing? Come over here. Come here. We'll put your ghost up here. Come here. Come here. That's my dog. Right? You want your beer? It's cocktails in the war room after all. You want this? I just booped your nose. I just booped it again. Okay. You play with your pup wiser. All right. The guys from Queen were at the TD Garden over the last couple of days. And coming up on Halloween, Depeche Mode is going to be there. Tool rolling into the TD Garden on the 15th of November. Aerosmith postponed for New Year's Eve. No word yet coming from the Aerosmith camp on... Really? Wednesday? We're never going to get through the show. Give me that. We're never going to finish the show. Wednesday says, paint me like one of your French girls, Melissa says. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Ozzy needs to retire in his chair. The Those last two Ozzy records are really good. So if he's going to work with Andrew Watt again and release another really good solo album, I am so here for it. Look at that face, says Carol. That dog is so cool, says Greg. Treats or it ain't happening, Donna says yes. The pug is so cute, Jessica says. Yeah, Wednesday. Everybody loves you. You hear how vicious she is right now? Okay, let's do some more headlines while she's sitting still. Okay, coming to Big Night Live, The Darkness on October 17th. That is tonight. So The Darkness are probably playing as we speak. Mammoth WVH and Nita Strauss on November 15th. And congratulations to Wolfgang Van Halen. He got married over the weekend at home in Los Angeles. He told People magazine his mom walked him down the aisle to a song called 316, which was an instrumental that Eddie wrote and recorded and gave to Wolfgang Van Halen as a gift, obviously prior to his death. And Wolfgang said that he wanted to use that song as the music he walked down the aisle to incorporate his dad into the ceremony. He also said that rather than a live band at his wedding, they hired a DJ, and part of the playlist for Wolfgang Van Halen's wedding reception was Meshuggah. Wolfgang said anybody over the age of 40 was horrified, which is hilarious. So congratulations to Wolfgang Van Halen. And coming up on November 22nd, From Ashes to New at Big Night Live, we got, obviously, this means winter. Not very happy. I can't wait till shows at the Xfinity Center start getting scheduled. Speaking of Tool, we got him coming to the SNHU Arena on November 13th. Mohegan Sun, they're going to be there on the 10th and 11th of November. Godsmack at the SNHU Arena in Manchester on the 27th with Extreme. Trans-Siberian Orchestra is going to be at the SNHU Arena, the DCU Center, and the Mohegan Sun Arena. All of these are up on the events calendar. Des Rocks at Sinclair on November 20th with Starbenders and Christopher Shane, two bands that I just saw in Vegas a couple weeks ago, both great. The Zombies at the Cabot Theater coming up on the 26th. Bush and Bad Wolves and Eva Under Fire on November 21st at the Providence Civic Center. And at the Palladium, coming up on November 4th, Dragon Force is going to be there. The MGM Music Hall at Fenway, 3 shows got announced today. So 3 Days Grace and Chevelle were this past weekend. That's a typo, so I got a drink for that. Motionless in White's going to be there on October 29th. Pono for Pyros, this show is postponed. And the Dropkick Murphys have announced their shows around St. Patrick's Day. The shows got announced today. They go on sale on Friday. The Dropkicks are going to be at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway on March 15th, 16th, and 17th of 2024. And like I said, they go on sale on Friday at 10 a.m. And that's not the only show the Dropkicks are doing. On the 15th, they are playing the House of Blues. Those tickets also go on sale this Friday. So 15th at the House of Blues. And then 3 shows at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway. 15, 16, 17. Yeah, that's right, I believe. Yeah. Breeders are going to be there on October 24th, and Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening is going to be there on November 26th. All of the shows are on the event calendar at mistresscarrie.com. I have told you guys that there are certain days that are fantastic for new releases, and this week is a massive day for new releases on Friday. Look at all of the rock music that we are getting this Friday. We're getting the highly anticipated return of Tom DeLonge in Blink-182 with the new album One More Time on Friday. Blues Traveler coming out with Traveler's Soul. Boys Like Girls coming out with Sunday at Foxwoods. Chris Shiflett from the Foo Fighters releasing his new solo album Lost at Sea. Devo releasing 50 Years of Re-Evolution. Duff McKagan from Guns N' Roses releasing his new solo album Lighthouse on Friday. The Goo Goo Dolls live at the Academy. Ice Nine Kills, Welcome to Horrorwood, Under Fire. Yes, I see Wednesday. Night Ranger releasing 40 Years and a Night with Contemporary Youth Orchestra. That's coming out on Friday. The Oxymorons, one of the bands I told you guys about that I saw in Vegas a few weeks ago, their new album, Melanin Punk, is coming out on Friday. Rival Sons, Lightbringer. The Rolling Stones' first new album of new music in 18 years, Hackney Diamonds, coming out on Friday, featuring the late, great Charlie Watts, featuring the return of Bill Wyman on bass on some of the tracks, plus Lady Gaga, Elton John, Stevie Wonder, Sir Paul McCartney, just craziness. And Within Temptation releasing Bleed Out. This is all coming out this Friday, so a big day. Let's see. Summer went by too fast, says Jonathan. Lizzie Hale just celebrated her birthday as well. Eric says, it's not winter yet. My 67 Camaro isn't put away yet. Static X at the Palladium. Yeah, you're right. I got to put that one up there. It is up on the concert calendar. I just didn't put it up on the slide. But yes, Static X and Sevendust with Dope are coming to the Palladium, and that show is on the concert calendar for sure. Let's see. Michael says, hopefully winter will pass quickly. I don't think so. I'm going to make the prediction that we're going to get blasted with snow this winter. For some reason, I'm just feeling it. Right, Wednesday? Anybody that's tuning into the show right now is like, what the hell is going on? If you are, hi, I'm Mistress Carrie. These are all the new albums coming out this Friday. That's Wednesday. Let's see. I can't stop watching Wednesday, says Donna. She just wants to be involved. That's it. I actually like it that she is in the same camera shot so that you guys can see the graphics. She's waiting for mail call. Did you see her tip her head just then? Is that what you're waiting for? Are you waiting for mail call? Because there's nothing in the mail call this week. I'm sorry, but there's nothing in the mail call this week. I'm sorry, Wednesday. You see what I put up with? Michael Voorhees says, what the hell? We can't get blasted by winter. We have global warming. Do you not understand how climate change and global warming works? It means that water melts out of the ice caps and fills the oceans more, so that when it gets hot, more water evaporates, goes into the storm clouds, which means storms get worse. Summer storms get worse. Winter storms get worse, which means we're going to start seeing more and more snow, have more and more severe tornadoes, hurricanes, and more flooding. That's how it works. And I'm not even a scientist, and I understand that. Bite your tongue, Carrie, with the snow. I'm just saying I feel that. And I'll tell you why I feel that. Because I heard a long time ago from the old Italian guys that used to come in my grandfather's bakery that you can always tell the winter by how fat the squirrels are. I'm not kidding. And if the squirrels are really fat, it means that the squirrels know that the winter is going to be really bad. And so they stock up and get fat in preparation for a severe winter. And I have seen some fat fucking squirrels recently. Now, I don't know if it's true, but it always stuck with me as an indicator for winter. Have you guys seen the fat squirrels, or is it me? Maybe it's just the squirrels in my yard, but the squirrels have been fat. Lots of nor'easters. Exactly, Louise. Oh my God, she is watching us. She's judging you too from back there. Squirrels all over my yard, stocking up. Oh my God, she is such a cutie. The squirrels tell all, says Jane. Those old Italian guys knew things. They're like, what's his name in Game of Thrones? I drink and I know things. Exactly. I've heard that too. And yes, I have seen the fat squirrels, says Tracy. The pine trees are full, overfull of pine cones. And that also means a bad winter, says Trina. There are some fatties here in Drake-It. I just read the Xfinity Center is going to open back up. Fat fucking squirrels or fucking fat squirrels. It's all about the comma placement, Keith, I think. Wait until the Gulf Stream stops circulating. Look, I'm just saying, look at the squirrels, figure it out. But I am a little bit worried about this winter. I'm not going to lie. So we'll see what happens. All right. Want to remind you guys, speaking of cold weather, you need to cover your sleeves and your arms with the 3/4 sleeve retro 70s jerseys, and also the Mistress Carrie hoodies that are for sale and in stock and ready for your purchase with the holidays coming up to keep you warm. Just saying. Wednesday. All right. And for everybody with a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, I have got some inside info coming for you on a lot of stuff that's happened in the last week. We are also got to get ready for our monthly live stream coming up at the end of the month. If you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, which you can get on Patreon, you can also submit podcast interview questions when I tip you off who is coming up on the show. You get travel blog updates. I'm going on another trip next month. I'll fill you guys in on that coming up. Early access to event information and tickets, exclusive concert ticket giveaways. If you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, you have access to see Motionless in White. This is the last date of the tour, by the way. And the last date of the tour, you never know what's going to happen. This past weekend, Chevelle and 3 Days Grace, it was the last date of their tour. They had blow-up dolls on the stage. Tinky Winky from the Teletubbies came out on stage. There are always practical jokes that happen on a tour on the last day. Mike Shinoda was just talking about how they pranked Metallica on the last day of a tour. And that the guys from Linkin Park, in the middle of the Metallica set, went out with a picnic basket and a blanket and snacks and set it up in the middle of the Metallica stage and had a picnic in the middle of Metallica's show. Mike Shinoda said in a recent interview, he believes that they are the only band that has ever pranked Metallica during a show, and that is hilarious. Wednesday is saying, where are my treats? I need a Mistress Carrie Tuggy. Keith, not Tinky Winky, says Trina. Remember back in the good old days where the theory was that they were just trying to make kids gay because Tinky Winky had a satchel? Remember those days? Oh, the innocence of it all. Melissa says, peace, love, and rock and road. Catch you guys on the flip side. Good night, Melissa. So if you got a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, check your account. And if you don't have one, go to patreon.com/Mistress Carrie or click the Patreon link at mistresscarrie.com. And if you want to go and see Motionless in White, you know how to let me know you want tickets. So here's all the places that you can find me and the Mistress Carrie podcast. And don't forget, you can listen to me on the radio on 100 FM The Pike. Download the Pike app. Listen to me on 106.3 The Bone. Download the Bone app. All of these links are up at mistresscarrie.com and the new podcast accounts as well. So is Tinky Winky the purple one? Yes, Tinky Winky is the purple one. Jessica says, I was born in 1978. All right, guys. Wait, where did she? Are you sleeping back there? Come here. Do you want to say goodnight to everyone? Do you want to say goodnight? Huh? You want to say goodnight? Thank you guys for all the love. Want to say goodnight? Huh? Spoiled brat. All right, guys, don't forget, episode 176 of the Mistress Carrie podcast is coming out at midnight tonight, featuring Jason Hook from Flat Black. And also, if you haven't checked out this week's bonus episode yet, Pat Badger from Extreme. That one is available now. So, you want to say goodnight, Wednesday? You want to say goodnight? Say goodnight, everyone. Good night, guys.